Welcome everybody to D&J Art Studio, and today me and Torenzo are going to create a piece on this canvas. We don't know what we're going to do. Torenzo, explain what is that whole process going to be.
Okay, thank you. I want to say welcome to everybody. This is really exciting for Danuta and I. We've never done anything like this before together, and I think it's only been 2 times in my career as an artist where we've created something together. One time was with my wife Lynn, and then there were 2 other of my fellow art students at Kendall where we did a project way back when. Today is really going to be exciting for us, and I hope it's exciting and entertaining for you. I want to thank Danuta and Janice O'Schlager for opening up their studio to us here in Stuart, Florida, and especially for Olga and Robert Hamilton from Martin County Lifestyle Magazine to be with us and to film this event. You are here today to have an experience, hopefully, with understanding the creative process and how artists are able to access our unconscious mind. Our unconscious mind begins really to develop at 22 months when we're in our mother's womb. That's the point where researchers have determined that infants inside, newborns who weren't born yet, can hear everything outside the womb. So it could be music, conversations. So that is the beginning point at which our unconscious mind begins to develop. From that point, then on through childhood, adolescence, into middle age, older age, everything is accumulated in a part of our brain that is called the unconscious mind, or you might also hear it as subconscious. The unconscious mind, Lynn will attest that I'm usually or mostly unconscious a good deal of the time.
Me too, Doug.
So, with that, what we're going to demonstrate is one aspect of accessing the creative process through our unconscious mind, and we're going to do that by a demonstration that will start shortly. So, to quote Carl Jung, who was a psychiatrist, he was a contemporary of Freud back in the day. Jung did an awful lot to develop the principles of the unconscious mind and what he also calls the collective unconscious mind. The collective unconscious mind is how we all are connected, even though we don't know one another. But for example, we've experienced, most of us, I hope, great times of joy, happiness. If you've delivered and had a child, you know what that experience is like. If you've been a father, you know what that's like to become a father. If you've jumped out of an airplane and you've done skydiving, that is an experience that other people who have done similar things can relate to. So if you talk to someone who just finished a great meal and had a special wine that they love, and somebody else knew that wine, they go, oh my gosh, that wine is fabulous. So there's a connection there that's made. So part of the unconscious mind is to, in what we're doing today, is to demonstrate that process as a launching point to create works of art. It doesn't necessarily mean that it needs to be in an abstract style of painting, but it can be in any aspect of creativity that you're in, if it's music, if it's writing. But today, in the context, we're going to be talking about painting. So some of you who are realistic painters, this is going to apply to you as well. And our goal here is that when you walk away from today, you'll begin to have an understanding of how you can go deeper into your creative process and really begin to bring forth the things that are in your unconscious mind. The unconscious mind does not discern time. So that means if we experience something, at 22 months before we're born, or at 4 years old, or at 16 years old, or at 40 years old. It's all in there, like the psychic goulash. It's all in there. The other thing about the unconscious mind is it treats similar as same. So you may have experienced one of those what we often call deja vu moments, where you go, wow, that feels familiar. I believe, and this is my opinion, I believe that's part of how the unconscious mind becomes activated. And it's just like you may not have a conscious recall of that, but it feels so familiar. Our unconscious mind is where 90% of our responses, or reactions is really a better term, reside. So when I think typically where it shows up most often is in the unpleasant experiences of conflict. So if you're having a disagreement or an argument with someone, something that is said may trigger a response in you that has a little bit to do with what's going on now in the moment, but really has a deeper meaning to something that you may have experienced earlier in your life. We could go on and on, but we're not going to for the sake of time. So, Carl Jung wrote, works of art are visual narratives influenced by the experiences that reside in the unconscious realms of our mind. I've talked about the experiences, the disappointments that we all have had in life. So if I'm disappointed about something and we talk about disappointment with someone else, we're going to connect with that because we've all experienced something in the way of a disappointment as well. So what's going to happen today with Danuta and myself is our collaboration is a combination of our individual styles and to create an amalgam or a blending of what we do with the intention of creating a painting. This is what we're going to call a prophetic painting. And by that I mean we're going to set a tone in the room that we're all going to be in harmony, hopefully, with what we're going to step into this process. So what Danuta and I did previously to your arriving is we have written words on the canvas because we believe, well, both Danuta and I have had some really amazing spiritual connections in our life with many things. So I'm a strong believer from my experience of a strong spiritual realm that is unseen by the naked eye, and I'm seeing people acknowledge that. So there is that aspect. And what I believe has happened in my creative experience with some of the prophetic paintings that I've done is by incorporating words on a canvas, you are planting something that is now viable, it's real, it's something that's written on a canvas that is now shared in the universe, if you will. And what's going to happen through this whole process is we're going to create something that we can really, literally believe that it's going to make a difference in our community and in the world. So it's think locally, act globally, think locally. No, I'm think globally, act locally. So, do you want to talk about the words that you shared?
Well, all my words are in orange, so compassion, kindness, patience, unity, love, God is love, peace, love one another. And that's going to show up, hopefully, in this painting.
The words that I focused on for this process are really words that are identified as the fruit of the Spirit, and that being love, joy, peace, patience, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And I'm pretty good, I think, with a lot of them. Self-control, maybe. You should speak to my wife about that. And so the other thing I want to talk about just briefly is I just acquired state-of-the-art hearing aids.
He cannot hear, by the way, so I don't know how we're gonna communicate. So I think this is gonna help a lot.
What was that? So the purpose in demonstrating this is I do have some significant hearing
Can you
loss.
hear me now?
Mama,
Yes. This is your subconscious.
Mama. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so the point in doing this is that I have limited hearing, and I'm also exploring options to improve that, but at the point right now, I have very limited hearing in my left ear. I have better hearing in my right ear. So we're going to ask you to hold the questions to the end so we can devote our full attention to you and answer those questions. And during the break, if I'm moving around and you want to ask me something, come up and go like, yo, what's up? And we can have a conversation. But I don't want you to feel like I'm ignoring you. I'm just letting you know in advance. That's what's
You can
happening.
talk to me anytime. Okay.
All
Are we
right.
going to start with that?
Yes.
Okay, so the first thing, what are we going to do? We're going to do shapes. We don't know what we're going to be doing. And afterwards, when our spirit is going to tell us to stop, we're going to stop. And then we all can look at it, what we did. And from those shapes, we're going to start creating the piece.
So what Danuta has just described is activating our unconscious mind. Because when we are now going to be drawing and making lines on this, we're blindfolding ourselves so we're not in control of that experience. So we're relying on our spirit to move and create the lines that is going to be influenced by our unconscious mind. Then,
And also yours, because we're all working together. Remember, this piece we are all creating together through your subconscious mind. A napkin hat.
Show them that you're blindfolded. Okay?
Okay.
now I can't hear and I can't see.
Right. That's how I like him.
Okay, now.
Okay.
Are we ready?
Okay.
All right.
I'm starting to feel better. You can see who's the extrovert.
Yes, you sure can.
Torenzo, you're not making marks again.
Press it down.
Press
Press it. He cannot hear me.
What?
There you go.
So what do we see? Do we see anything?
I'm seeing a 3-bean salad.
A what?
A 3-bean salad?
Yeah.
Wow, that's going to be a lot of fun.
I see Mickey Mouse.
Okay, I'm starting. You know, the best thing to see what we did, we just start putting colors in a shape. And we keep the shapes that we wanted to keep, period. And then we can add our own.
Danuta,
Yes, sir.
before we get started,
Yeah,
I think we ought to look at this for a minute.
I have no idea.
Wow, all that
How you doing?
Yeah, what do you think?
I got one of those books when
I
I
got
was a
it.
teenager.
Okay. The Wackadoo Unconscious Mind has created the template from which now we are going to add colors. And this is where our conscious mind begins to take over, and there is an intuitiveness about the process. So this is all now going to be done from our experience, our intuition, looking at things. So now we are combining and bringing together the unconscious mind and the conscious mind in this process.
wizard hat.
Yes.
There we go. Darling, do you want a red hat or blue hat? What color would you like?
I like red.
Okay. I think he's a Santa Claus.
I'm seeing Dr. Seuss.
Yeah.
That's his nose, right?
That's great.
Okay, I'm painting over Jordan.
Well, then I'm going to color with goodness.
Okay. Looks like a Christmas tree.
One of my favorite words is perseverance, because Lord knows I persevered, as most of us have.
That reminds me of the kindergartner's paintings. It's starting to look like him, no?
No.
You got my best side. That's awesome.
The beauty of it is, you see what you see, and in 15, 20 minutes, it might disappear.
I don't know if I like that Santa Claus. What don't you like? I don't like the Santa Claus. Cat's my hat. Oh, he's cute. It's the hat. Oh, I'm not ready. Oh, no. You're ready to be
You just painting things over and change. It's a constant change.
You French? Perfect. There you go, girl.
My stuff is totally different, so yeah, like,
Totally different.
yeah, we bump into each other, and that's the explosion, what we
Of the creation.
created. So what do you think the name of the painting?
Connected relationships.
Freedom Springs.
Einstein's party.
That's kind of nice.
Well, the dog looks like Einstein, so.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
So what are we hearing?
You're hearing Einstein's party.
Or connected relationships, is that what you said?
What was the first one?
Yes.
Connected relationships.
Einstein's party.
Connected of them,
Yeah.
connected
Or connected?
together, relationships connected. It's connected colors, it's connected relationships of different sorts.
How about magical mystical tour? That's a good one.
Yeah, okay, more.
We all live in a red submarine. I don't know.
Started with the subconscious, of course, blindcoded, and subconscious was telling you where to go. But then you stood back and the analytical came in, and you were wondering how to balance this out, how to connect things. So part of it was subconscious and part analytical.
Yes.
It's perfect, wonderful, exactly.
It
Yes.
is, but even when I was connecting the colors, I had no idea what I was doing. I was just filling out the shapes, and then I start seeing maybe it's a female,
Maybe you
maybe
need to
it's
this over here.
yeah,
But that's more analytical.
yeah, and then the judgment came in.
Well, that's true, and I think you just really nailed it, Chris, is like it started really just some lines blindly drawn, and then stepping back and looking at this big spaghetti on the wall, and then beginning to look at compartments or sections, and then as we both got into it, it's just like at one point I'm going, what am I doing here? It's like, you know, but I knew that in time it was going to start to developing what Danuta does so well and what I do, and then it was a matter of adjusting to each other, because this is really a new experience for us. And so I'm much more layer thicker, blah, 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 and Danuta is more smooth and all that. So, you know, it was an adjustment.
I could have like, and maybe in the audience, somebody could have pulled up a red flag and said, you have to stop right now. Because
Next time when we're gonna do
I want to do a time thing, because
Yes.
you guys after 30 minutes made this an amazing piece of art where you really saw Alonzo here, you saw Danuta here, and it was almost before the blending. Not saying this isn't bad, but there was a like, oh my God, stop. There was a where I saw those lines and I saw that. So in some aspects, I want to see you guys do this again, but I want a quicker
time it. Yes,
So,
I
yeah,
want a
put it-
30-minute time limit would be great. You guys, you saw bits of you, and it almost was like really collaboratively cool.
Yeah,
And there were some aspects I want to say, okay, you're done.
yeah.
Because as artists, as
So
designers,
next
we
time-
can overwork it. They say take a piece of jewelry off before you leave your house or something, and then, you know, I mean,
Next time when we're gonna do this again, you're gonna be our stopwatch.
you know, that would be so much fun, like have a judge, like, okay, you're done. But you guys but that was fun, and you guys had a really good, because you're so different in your, like your techniques, and it was really cool to see you have the balls to do this, to come together and actually,
Yes.
you know, so.
So I want to say that I think it would be also interesting to have two artists that really didn't know each other as well as Danuta and I do. To do like a paint-off at some
Not
point.
knowing the style.
But Danuta and I have known each other for a few years now, so it's just like, yeah, we can do this thing. There was like we didn't have that hurdle to overcome.
We show our work together in
Yeah.
the same room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, I mean, just him and me at the design showroom in Lakewood.
I think it was a lovely experiment.
Yeah, well,
I was
I'd
like,
like to suggest that this could become a monthly fundraiser with
Well,
two different artists doing it.
yeah.
I mean,
I'm thinking about
I would
that.
pay, you know, to come and enjoy this event. I loved
Okay.
it. It was wonderful.
Okay.
In fact, maybe
I
somebody
think
could
that's
sponsor it and they could have the stopwatch.
Exactly.
And say, you know what?
What a great idea.
It was so much fun being in front of a live studio audience where you could interact. It was so much fun. And thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And we could feel your energy. You know that. And you actually create all of it.
Right.